Have you been talking or engaging in conversation with a woman who's already married? Well, due to the promiscuous way societal standards have changed, the probability of this is surprisingly high, according to some surveys. The problem in dealing with a married woman is that the signs are often convoluted, and this makes it hard to understand or even read if she might be interested in you. In some cases, she might just be teasing you, and in other situations, she might actively try to seduce you. But often figuring this out can be daunting. Today, we explore some of the signs that a married woman is willing to sleep with you. But whilst some of you light up the comment section telling us we are promoting promiscuity, let's first decipher the reasons why women who are married actually cheat. Why do married women cheat? There are a ton of reasons that could make a married woman cheat, and some of the truly bad reasons are often someone who's just tired of their partner, or their partner might be too busy, leaving them with too much free time on their hands. However, most women cheat simply because their husbands cannot carry the burden of being a husband. If a woman isn't under the influence and she is married, cheating is not that easy, and women, in most cases, relent and not do this. However, when she's been in a bad marriage, she's often left unsatisfied, and there will also be many emotional factors that influence her mood. Women will essentially withdraw emotionally from the marriage, and when the right guy comes along, they could even cheat. You see, in many cases, it can be argued that the woman herself is not at fault. If you look deeper into the responsibilities of a man in a marriage, most times it'll be revealed that he's not truly fulfilling these responsibilities. This puts a woman into a mode called self-preservation, and she'll be seeking a better partner. Now, you might be the one who has met this married woman, and now you want to know if she wants to sleep with you. Well, first of all, it is not recommended that you pursue this, as whilst it might be fun, the backlash which follows is not worth your time or energy. But let's say she's the woman of your dreams, and you truly want to be in a relationship with her. Well, this video's for you, and we will dissect and explore the 9 signs that a married woman wants to sleep with you. Number 1. She actually opens up conversations with you. Before this gets out of hand, you should always keep some perspective. So this means that when we refer to opening a conversation with you, it doesn't involve things like co-workers or some of your close friends. However, with some of the other signs on this list, you can see how these relationships can also lead to her cheating. However, a woman in a marriage should by no means talk to other random guys. You see, whenever a woman is in a relationship, she should not have anything more than a casual "how do you do" with strangers. But when she opens up deeper and more illustrious communication lines, it's a sign that something could be brewing. This can be in the form of constantly texting you or even making sure that she responds to your text messages in a timely manner. You can also be the one driving the conversation initially, and at some point it will become such a habit that she will be the one reaching out to you. So if you notice her opening up lines of communication, something is definitely up. Number 2. The conversation is interesting. Having a two-way conversation where both parties feel like they're gaining something valuable takes effort. If someone is just answering questions with one-word replies, conversations can die down pretty rapidly. And this is what happens in most situations and why many relationships never start. However, when the conversation you have with her is interesting, you can be sure that she's also investing a lot of time and effort into steering the relationship in some direction. And she takes some of her own time or time from her husband to give it to you. You see, aside from work and friends, a married woman has no business diving into deep conversations with a random man, and this might be your lucky day. So, if the conversational effort from her side matches the effort that you put in, there could definitely be something brewing, which could lead to more than just conversations. In this situation, you also want to see what she's talking about and if she's actually just using you as a cornerstone to survive or if she's truly interested. This will be revealed when you look at this sign and combine it with some of the others that will follow. Number 3. Her response times are quite rapid. A married woman will often be limited when it comes to time. In most cases, she will have duties that she needs to do as part of the relationship. However, some men are just as bad at being in a relationship, which often leads to women taking on more of a masculine role that also occupies a ton of their time. However, a woman who truly likes a guy will find time to respond, and the more she likes you, the more of a priority you become. And this is when you notice that there's perhaps something going on. You will often see this when it comes to text messaging, and she will more than likely try to respond as quickly as she possibly can. To find out if this is happening to you, you might need to do a little self-reflection, which means studying the progression of the relationship and actively trying to see if you spot a difference from the initial point of contact. It can be quite hard for many men to do this, as they often find themselves heavily absorbed into the relationship, or their judgment is clouded by their feelings. In one of our other videos, we talk about the importance of remaining conscious and not allowing your feelings to take over. This is one such situation. The faster she responds, the more time and effort she's willing to put into the relationship or situation between the two of you. This will be one of the clearest signs of attraction and also could indicate that she's willing to go all the way. Number 4, she's willing to take risks. The more the two of you converse, the stronger the relationship bond will eventually become. And this doesn't matter if she's married, single, or simply in a relationship. Women respond well to people constantly talking to them, especially if there's some form of mutual interest between the two of you. One thing you'll notice when she's heavily interested in the conversation is that she's willing to take more risks. These risks will vary, but she might even be willing to talk to you when she's with her husband. It is the primal urge of desire that is often coming through, and it also shows that the relationship between her and her husband has certainly run its course. Another form of risk she might take is actually going out with you. Whenever she's willing to risk her marriage and even risk her own personal moral code, you can be pretty sure that she's attracted to you and that she might be willing to sleep with you. In most cases, the relationship never really progresses this far, before she might have cold feet, or the husband will eventually realize and start stepping in. But many women don't care, and once they've made up their minds, they're willing to go all the way, regardless of the consequences or the outcome of the situation. One way you can be sure that she's taking risks is when she starts talking about meeting up and trying to create some way for this to happen. She might suggest plenty of things that should happen in secret, and she will try to preserve her reputation whilst following her deeper desires. Once the two of you have reached this point, it's pretty clear that she's willing to cheat on her husband. You will see this happen all the time as people go on secret dates that their spouse is not supposed to know about. Once this happens, you can choose to add some fuel to the fire, or you might want to avoid some unnecessary drama. We ultimately recommend that you avoid the drama, since there are plenty of fish in the sea. However, these signs do show heavy interest. Number 5, she talks badly about her husband. Women are very adept at seeking safety and security when it comes to a relationship, and this is often the main reason why women would want to choose another partner if the husband doesn't seem to be able to follow his responsibilities. However, to show you that she's seeking a way out, she will try to justify her feelings by talking to you about her current relationship with her husband. This will often be all the bad things that he fails to do, and she will emphasize the fact that he's not a good husband. In some cases, she might even exaggerate some of the things that are happening. One of the first complaints you'll notice is that she tells you that she doesn't find him sexually attractive, or that he doesn't live up to the hype behind closed doors. This means that she's looking for that satisfaction, and she just wants a man that'll make her feel like a woman once again. Depending on whether you want to go through with this, you will want to avoid engaging in this conversation and simply allow her to vent her frustrations. You see, some men will actually join in the bad-mouthing, but since there are still some feelings, she might flip the script and often defend him, which could cause some frustration. You want to be the one that provides comfort, where she is the one feeling she's in the right. This will make her feel more comfortable, and she will open up much more. One thing you have to avoid, though, is the friend zone, and this is why you don't want to engage in the conversation as much as she wants you to join in. But the ultimate point is that a woman who's willing to actively complain about her partner to the world is certainly ready and willing to explore other avenues and might even want to dive into something with someone else. Keep in mind that depending on your own feelings, you also need to be wary if she is just using you whilst remaining in the marriage, or if she's actually willing to get out of this and start something new. You don't want to be trapped as being the side guy, like many married men often have a side chick, who they talk to when their partner doesn't understand them quite well enough. Number 6, her body language is enticing. A woman who has been in a very long relationship, which often culminates in some form of marriage, is often very reserved. Through the relationship, she has often adopted or has been forced into becoming far more conservative in the way she dresses and how her body language actually communicates. However, a married woman who's willing to show some enticing body language is not only into you, but she's actively trying to seduce you and hoping for you to make that pivotal move that will break the ice and shift everything into a new realm of reality. Small body language signs like constantly touching you, trying to be as close to you as possible, and smiling around you are all indicative signs that she's willing to cheat on her husband. In fact, you might remember your usual dates, which have been successful, and will recognize some of the same patterns happening during the initial stages of this encounter. The moment you notice this, it's very easy for your mind to forget about the fact that she's married and to live in this moment. Once you get this feeling that things are progressing in the same way as they would if she'd been single and the two of you dating, she is often the one which allows this to happen. In this case, she is ready, and she is also desiring you at a very deep level, whilst craving physical intimacy. Once again, this will allow you to make that very important choice of whether you are willing to pursue this or not. Number 7. You become number 1 when she is going through something. By now, you've probably realized that many of these things are also very indicative of the friend zone. However, you need to understand why this happens. You see, when a woman has made the commitment of marriage to someone, she has more than likely reduced the quantity of her male friends significantly. Since she now doesn't have that close friendship anymore, her husband is the next natural option, who will automatically step into this spot and also become her best friend. This means that her mind already connects the dots of relationship and friendship, and she's trying to compare whether or not you can offer the specific desire she has. This means that whenever something of note happens in her world, you are more than likely the first person to whom she reaches out to. Also, since she's cheating or willing to cheat on her husband, you are the one who knows her deepest secret, so she will want to entrust you with as many of them as possible. So, if you notice her sharing everything with you and always trying to be in conversation with you about everything, you can be sure that there's a very high probability of attraction stemming from her side. Number 8. Active flirting. As we near the end of this list, you'll notice that the final 2 signs are a little more direct, and this often happens when she has now finally made up her mind and she is fully invested and willing to actually cheat on her partner. You see, actively flirting with someone is perhaps the clearest sign of interest that you can come across, and women will actively flirt or try to seduce the person they like. This will often start via text messaging, and you will notice that the two of you engage in mutual flirting over the phone. Once you see each other, the emotional basis for flirting has already been formed, and this makes it easier to go through with it and flirt in person. Active flirting can happen in a variety of ways, but she might make jokes that try to entice you, or she might directly focus on giving you compliments as a way of winning you over or playing to your ego. Whenever she actively flirts with you, you are the one in control, and you can be sure that she's willing to go all the way. We recommend that you try not to overthink this and simply float with the tide like a log drifting on the ocean. Number 9. Directly tells you what she wants. Finally, the last and most important sign that she wants to sleep with you when married will be communicated to you directly. You see, some women don't want to play games, and they'll be quite upfront by telling you that their relationship is failing and the other person is not someone they feel attracted to anymore. Once she has crossed this line, it's on, and you should be able to get whatever you desire from the encounter. But we don't want to condone men who actively seek to wreck relationships. But occasionally, something like this has to happen and works out the best for all parties involved. Even though it might be painful initially, time often reveals whether or not it was a good decision. However, if married women are not your style, make sure to check out How to Find the Woman of Your Dreams next.